Obsessed with sounds on the track.
What's good, YouTube? This is OWS the King, and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to do a little segment on the channel where I randomly pick games from the generation that I was born in and work my way all the way up. So my generation where I started to play video games was in the 80s. Therefore, that generation was Generation 3. And so we're going to pick games that I have never played, that was not in my gaming radar at that point, and try to find some newer games that, new to me, and see if I like them or not. I've said on a couple of videos prior that wasn't the biggest fan of Generation 3, Gen 3, whichever you want to call it, of video games. I'm not very nostalgic, believe it or not, of the NES or the Sega Master System, and definitely wasn't nostalgic for the Atari 7800 due to the fact that I don't think I ever played it. But I did own a Sega Master System, and I owned a NES, and I was many of weekends renting games for these consoles. But it just, when I go back, fast forward to me in my 40s, and throughout the years past, that when I look into certain games, it's not always a era that I like to go back to. I kind of want to change that. I know that there's classics on the NES. I know there's classics on the Sega Master System. I've actually firsthand played said classics, but I want to find the ones that, like I said, under my radar, that games that I've never played before. So this won't be me going in depth of every little thing. I say that many a times and stuff on this channel. We do not do this here. We don't do that. We're not going to get a definitive, well thought out, researched type of review on every single game that I play. I do not do that. I go off on vibes and how I feel about the game, and that is all. So if you're looking for history, lore, and all that other bullshit on a certain type of game, you probably should go find that shit somewhere else, because that's not how I get down, and that's not doesn't look like that's what's going to happen in the near future. Okay, so the first game I picked was on the Sega Master System. It is Deep Duck Trouble. Deep Duck Trouble. So, although I was a Sega Master System kid, Deep Duck Trouble somehow just flew under my radar. At the time, I was busy playing Shinobi and Astro Warriors. I discovered that it had also, which I'm about to contradict myself, I found out that it was also ported to the Sega Genesis and Game Gear in '93. So there's that, making it about one of the last games of the Sega Master System. It had to been one of the last games of the Sega Master System before the Genesis just basically took over, and it was just king shit of Sega at that time. 93, god damn, I'm old as fuck. To start, I had a problem. I couldn't get past the second level of the Sega Master System version. It was too much slowdown, and it became unplayable. So I had to cheat. It's already not going very well. So I had to play the game on the Game Gear instead. So shockingly, the Game Gear version runs better than the Sega Master System. Key things, this game is gorgeous. Disney created many great looking games back in the day, and this was another example. So the plot is that Scrooge lost his Ozempic pen, and after eating too much at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, he needed, Donald to go to CVS to get him a new prescription. Scrooge gave him his wallet, and off Donald goes. So the gameplay was simple. You jump on enemies and platforms, and you kick items out of trees. You have some light puzzles. And even though it was a Donald Duck Disney game, it provided, a fair amount of challenge. I would say the problem is, however, it was the platforming can feel kind of floaty. And like a typical platformer back in those days and stuff, the character always feel like they're running on ice, which usually, leads to missed jumps or overshooting targets. Like I said, that was a standard in platformers back in those days. There's nothing really bad about this game. If I had known about this game in the 90s, I would have tried it. It would have definitely been a game that I would have rented at the time. The animations were good. The music's solid. There's about 7 levels, and you can beat it at least in about an hour and a half. Overall, it's a decent title, and I would give it a 7.5. So the next game I played was the Robotron. This wasn't the Robotron, it was Robotron from 7800 Atari. First of all, this game was a bust. My experience with Robotron was affected by using standard Xbox controller instead of a Atari controller or an arcade pad. This reduced my enjoyment of the game. I imagine to fully appreciate this game, I recommend you use like proper controls. Using a Xbox controller like I did to play this game kind of fucked it up. You really need that motion from a arcade stick to play this, because it's a 360 type of movement that you can only use with a proper pad like that. Using it with regular controls, it just don't work. So with that being said, the nostalgic hit I got from that classic Atari sound was worth the time. I have Robotron on the PlayStation 1, and I imagine those controls are a bit more up to speed of using, just a regular gamepad. This game needs a trackball. A trackball will definitely work with this game big time, and or a Mayflash, something of that ilk. So this one, I can't even give it a grade, in my opinion, because just starting right off the bat, it just didn't feel right. So I would like to point out that that this game is fucking relentless. I got my ass handed to me like right after wave 3. and that had, that could have had a lot to do with, just the controller that I was using. But willing to give this one another go if I, come up on, an arcade pad that will work for the PC that, I was playing on to get this gameplay. So not looking good on this pick, but it was at random, so it is what it is. Okay, so oh shit, oh god. Okay, so the last game I tried out was Deadly Towers for the NES, and okay, so I almost wanted to call off this fucking series because I was one out of 3 today, and holy shit, this game is shite. Okay, first of all, you start the damn game, and right off the bat, they're just throwing so much bullshit at you, so much random objects in the fucking game without reason, and this shit is goofy as hell. Like, you getting hit by, popcorn kernels, blue slinkies, bats. The bats was the most sane thing that showed up in the first part of the game, but you're like bombarded with so much other crap. You can't get your wits about you. I'm like Melanie Daniels from the Birds and shit, trying to get the fuck in the damn door. There was so much shit in my face. More importantly, what the hell is wrong with this dude? Why is my guy got knives coming out of his dick? and he looks so fucking traumatized. Like, look at him. Like, he don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck no more. He just wants to find the bitch that gave him the clapper and made knives come out of his penis. That's all he cares about. So at this point, my mind was made up. I was going to end the gameplay, but I needed to get that old B-roll. My experience once I got in the castle, I want to point out that it gets somewhat playable. See, back in those days when they had these type of RPGs and things, that it either came with a map with the game, or you got like a Nintendo Power, or a Game Pro, and they would have a guide that was in that was in these magazines. So I'm guessing the map may have came with this game, but I was not playing it that way, so I kind of screwed myself. And I get into this castle, and it's just entry door of different doors of random shit, and it just was no end. And I wasn't patient enough to find the end. I was over it, and I was like, this is not a good way to start, because this game was trash, and I just want to know why knives coming out of this dude's dick. It's very fucking disturbing, and the look on his face, tells the story that he just want to find this bitch and then die, because he's had enough. No more pain for this guy. It's so fucked up. So yeah, Deadly Towers. I've rented a mini Nintendo game in my day when I was a young lad, and I want to say that I've seen this game. I don't know if it's that intuition as a kid that just always picked up that box and was like, maybe that's not for me, and then put that shit back down, because Lord help me that I did not traumatize myself by renting this game. This one was definitely flew right past me, and I'm kind of glad that it did, because this game fucking sucks. So I imagine there's somebody that's a big fan of this game, and they will probably stand on their fucking, you know, laurels and say that, you know, this game was the shit. But I will have to disagree with you there, buddy. This is not good. So so that's 3 games so far. That's Gen 3, and hoping that this series gets a lot better. We're gonna scoot up to Gen 4 and pick out some games that I have not played before, and yeah, it should be a good time. Whether it's bad or good and stuff, it's just always good to try, you know, new games and, you know, be aware of, you know, said games, you know, because it's just further proving that it's shit to play. You know, this new narrative nowadays that there's nothing to play, whether it's from, you know, this era, from, you know, back to the 3rd gen or even the 2nd gen of that matter and stuff. Like, you know, there's some good Atari games and stuff, but you gotta look further, and a lot of people just don't want to look. They just want to bitch about games. They don't want to play them. So yeah, this was a good first first, you know, episode of this, and yeah, it was fun nonetheless. But yeah, it's just stay away from Deadly Towers. That game is fucked. So this is OWS the King. If you want, please like, subscribe, comment, stay tuned for more videos. All right, I'm out. Peace.
Lease this beat today.